Hello future RNs, this is Sir Josh, and for this recorded lecture, pag-uusapan natin naman ang ating ADHD as part of your childhood developmental disorders. So sabi natin with our past discussion that your neurodevelopmental disorder or your childhood developmental disorders, it's very difficult to diagnose it sa mga bata because their basic development is still incomplete. And sabi nga natin, no, they may lack that ability, no, to recognize or to describe what they are truly experiencing. Okay, so pag sinabi natin ADHD nurses or your attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, it is characterized by inattentiveness, overactivity or hyperactivity, and then lastly, we have your impulsiveness. Okay, so pagdating sa onset, kung kailan natin pwedeng makita yung mga symptoms or na pwedeng i-manifest ng mga symptoms ng bata is that it is being identified and diagnosed when the child begins preschool. Okay, that's why making your ADHD difficult to diagnose, no, sa mga bata less than 4 years old. Okay, and pag titignan naman natin kung kanino mas common ang ADHD, predominantly mas common ito sa mga kalalakihan. And aside from that one, nurses, you have to remember this one, that 60 to 70% of those children who have ADHD, pwede kasing mag-persist ito into young adulthood. Okay, and yung other part naman, or at least 25%, okay, ng mga may ADHD, okay, and then as nag-persist siya into adulthood, possible, okay, pwede kasing, pwede kasing ma-meet nila subsequently yung criteria ng mga tao na mayroong antisocial personality disorder. Okay? So, ano ba yung mga predisposing factors natin? Ano ba usually yung mga etiology, okay, mga reasons or contributory factors that will lead to the development of your ADHD. So, number 1 here, we have your biological influences. What else? We have your environmental influences. And then lastly, meron tayong tinatawag na psychosocial influences. So, mag-start muna tayo with your biological influences. So, under these factors, dito papasok yung mismong genetic predisposition natin. Okay? What else? Your biochemical theory, your anatomical, again, hapakan ng pusa. Okay, your anatomical influence. And then lastly, we have your prenatal, perinatal, and postnatal factors. Okay, so mag-start muna tayo with your genetics. So, meron kasing chance, okay, mataas din yung mismong risk, okay, when it comes to your predisposition, okay, genetic predisposition, for you to develop your ADHD. Particularly sa mga twin studies natin, no? Okay, particularly sa mga twins, okay, what type of twin? Sa mga kambal na considered as monozygotic twins. Okay, because they share the same they almost share the same genes. Okay, when it comes to their concordance, halos pareho kasi yan eh. So, mas mataas talaga yung chance na kapag isang kambal, meron siyang ADHD, same proven din dun sa mismong kambal as long as they are considered as monozygotic twins. Okay, what else? Okay, yung mismong risk, no? At least 2 to 8 times, okay, for those siblings or for those parents na merong ADHD, mataas din yung kanilang chance to develop your ADHD. Okay? What else? How about with your biochemical theory? Remember, no, that when it comes to our neurotransmitters, okay, what are the usual neurotransmitter that is associated, okay, that are associated with your ADHD? So, meron tayong tatlo dito. Number 1, we have your dopamine. Okay? What else? We also have your norepinephrine. And then lastly, meron tayong serotonin. Pero mas dominant kasi na talaga makikita natin that your dopamine and your norepinephrine, if there is an imbalance or there is disruption with this type of neurotransmitter, mas mataas talaga yung chance na magkaroon ng ADHD ang isang tao. Okay? What's with dopamine? Remember, nurses, that your dopamine, sabi natin before, it is responsible, no, for number 1, we have your sensory filtering, di ba? Okay, what else? Aside from your sensory filtering, si dopamine, ang kanyang function is tumutulong siya when it comes to your memory. Okay, ano pa ba? Aside from your memory, aside from your sensory filtering, dyan din papasok yung mismong, yung mismong responsible for your concentration. Okay? And aside from that one, meron din tayong tinatawag na, nagre-regulate din po siya when it comes to controlling your emotions. Okay, so pag nagkaroon ng disruption, dito natin makikita na pwedeng mag-manifest yung mga symptoms ng ADHD once that there is a disruption with your neurochemicals or your neurotransmitter like your dopamine. Okay? How about with your norepinephrine naman? Remember, si norepinephrine, responsible yan para saan? Sa mga executive functionings natin. Wherein, with the help of your norepinephrine kasi, tumutulong siya para mag-process ng mga stimuli. Okay, environmental stimuli natin. And aside from that one, tumutulong din kasi yan, no, para masustain natin yung mismong attention natin and even with the organization of our thought. Wherein if there is a disruption, okay, with the level of your norepinephrine, possible, mabilis kang ma-distract. Okay, magkakaroon ka ng hyperactivity, possible magkaroon ka din ng tinatawag natin na inattentiveness. Kasi nga, sabi natin kanina, as one of the functions of your, as one of the executive functions of your norepinephrine, tumutulong siya para ma-process yung mga stimuli, and aside from that one, para masustain natin yung mga attention and our thoughts as well. Okay? So, pag nagkaroon ng, nagkaroon ng imbalances with this type of your neurotransmitter like your dopamine, okay, your norepinephrine and your serotonin, possible, magkaroon ka ng ADHD. Okay? What else? You also have here your anatomical influences. So, dito kasi nurses, remember yung mga important, or yung mga essential na anatomical structures natin. Like, for example, we have your prefrontal cortex, no? We have your prefrontal cortex. Okay, prefrontal cortex. What else? Same to with your basal ganglia, ano pa? Your hippocampus, mga ganyan. Ngayon, pag nagkaroon po kasi ng problem with the anatomical structure, for example, ang nangyari kasi sa mga client natin na makikita natin sa mga neuroimaging natin, sa mga client na merong ADHD, possible, there is a decrease in what? Merong decrease in the volume and activity of these structures. Okay, nagkakaroon ng decrease, okay, volume and activity of your prefrontal cortex, ano pa, your basal ganglia, and your hippocampus that will lead to the possible development of your ADHD. Okay? And then last thing naman, nurses, we have your prenatal, ano ba? Your perinatal and your postnatal factors. So dito papasok, when it comes to your prenatal factors natin, dito papasok yung, for example, yung mother na buntis, okay, nag-smoke siya. Okay? Or your maternal smoking. What else? Si nanay natin na buntis, all throughout the pregnancy, umiinom siya ng alak. Meron siyang heavy ingestion of your alcohol. So ngayon, ang mangyayari kasi dyan, nurses, pag nagkaroon kasi ng maternal smoking or nag-smoke talaga si nanay natin or they heavily ingest alcohol, pwede kasi magkaroon ng baby, once pinanganak, pwede siya magkaroon ng fetal alcohol syndrome. So dito natin makikita na yung mismong effect, okay, ng mismong pag-inom ng alak, ng mismong pag-iossi, nagkakaroon ng hyperactivity yung mismong offspring or yung mismong bata. Okay, possible magkaroon siya ng hyperkinetic. Okay, what else? Pwede siya magkaroon ng impulsive behavior, yung mismong bata na, or yung mismong offspring, or yung mismong magiging anak nila. And aside from that one, sabi nga rin kanina, no, nagkakaroon siya ng hyperactivity. What else? Nagkakaroon siya ng impulsivity, and even with your inattention, or inattentiveness. Wherein, etong mga behavioral characteristic na to, nakikita natin yan sa mga patient natin na merong ADHD. Okay? How about naman, sir, when it comes to your perinatal and your postnatal? Okay? So, paano natin to i-integrate? So, ngayon, for example, yung mismong baby, okay, since hindi na-meet yung mismong maternal and yung mismong fetal nutritional demands, nagkaroon siya ng LBW, pinanganak siya na merong LBW or low birth weight. What else? Nakasustain siya ng trauma during the delivery of the baby, for example, sa ulo, di ba? What else? Yung mismong bata, naka-acquire siya ng mga early infancy infections. And these factors, pwede siyang mag-lead into what? Pwede siyang mag-lead into development of your ADHD. Okay, so that is under your biological influences natin. Okay, so now, let's proceed naman po with your environmental influences. So, meron tayong dalawa dito. It's either, nagkaroon siya ng exposure sa mga toxics natin in our environment, like for example, lead. And of course, included din dito yung mismong diet factor ng bata. Okay, so ngayon, under your environmental lead, sabi natin there is an exposure to your lead. Remember si lead natin, no? Meron kasing adverse effect. Okay, and once na nagkaroon kasi ng elevated level, masyadong mataas yung mismong body level natin of your lead. Okay, body level, elevated masyado. because of your exposure to your lead. Kanino ba natin yan pwedeng makita? Okay, ano ba yung mga gamit or mga structures that would, that will increase your chance to para magkaroon ka ng exposure with your lead. Like for example, yung mga lumang bahay natin, okay, mga lumang bubong, mga ganyan, talagang yung concentration kasi ng lead during that time, talagang mataas. Okay? Ano pa? Ano bang reason kung bakit hindi maganda na nagkakaroon tayo ng consumption or exposure with your lead? It's because pag meron kasing elevated na body levels of your lead, pwede kasing ma-impair yung mismong cognitive and even with the behavioral development ng isang bata. Okay? So, pwede yung mag-lead into the development of your ADHD. How about with your diet factors naman? Okay? According to studies, okay, there's really a possible link, no, between your food dyes or yung mga ginagamit natin na pang-color sa mga pagkain and even with your additives, okay? Mga artificial flavoring na mga kinakain ng mga bata, okay, mga candy, mga chichirya and everything that that contains your artificial flavorings, no? And even with your preservatives and mga sugar natin na ginagamit, okay, sa mga pagkain na pwedeng ma-ingest ng bata. Possible kasi yan na mag-increase ng chance or possibility na magkaroon din ng ADHD ang isang bata. Because that is part of your environmental influences. Okay? So, next naman tayo here with your psychosocial influences. That includes your disorganized or chaotic environment and even with the disruption in your family equilibrium. So, for example, yung family na kinalakihan ng bata is talagang makikita natin that they are wala silang maayos na relationship with each other. Okay? Kumbaga parang non-intact. Okay, yung mismong family wala silang emotional connection, for example, no? And aside from that one, meron silang young maternal age of birth. For example, batang ina, no? Masyadong maaga yung pagbubuntis or masyadong napaaga, no, yung mismong pag-build ng isang family. Pwede kasing maka-apekto yan, okay? Kasi, syempre, they're not yet matured, okay, enough to sustain or to really create the family na dapat okay yung mismong dynamics, no? And then, aside from that one, kapag, for example, isa sa mga family members, particularly sa tatay, no, they have that history, no, ng antisocial personality disorder, pwede kasi yung makapekto para magkaroon din ng ADHD yung anak. Okay? And aside from that one, kapag yung mother naman, nagsuffer siya from maternal depression, okay, or nagkaroon siya ng postpartum depression, for example, pwedeng makaapekto yan dun sa mismong bata para magkaroon siya ng ADHD. Okay? So, yun po yung mga iba't ibang etiology or influences or mga predisposing factors natin that include your biological influences, your environmental influences, and then lastly, meron tayong tinatawag na psychosocial influences. Okay, so now, let's proceed with your assessment. Okay, kapag yung mga manifestations natin later on dito, as part of your symptomatology, okay, meron siyang at least 6 or more of the following symptoms, okay, already persisted for at least 6 months. So, dito natin makakategorize okay, yung dalawang subtypes kasi ng ADHD natin. If yung mismong klase ng ADHD mo is more with inattention or more with hyperactivity and impulsivity. Okay, so mag-start muna tayo with your inattention. So sabi dito, according to your DSM-5, yung mga tao na possible merong ADHD, okay, as part of our assessment, no, na-assess natin that they often fails to give close attention to details or makes careless mistake. Okay, minsan, ito yung mga tao na they tend to overlook or they tend to miss important details kung ano man yung binibigay natin na task sa kanila. That's why, ang ending, nagiging inaccurate yung kanilang work. Okay? So, next, they often has difficulty sustaining attention in tasks or play activities sa mga bata. Ibig sabihin, they have that difficulty, no, to remain focused. For example, during lectures, sila yung mga bata na tinatawag nila na kiti-kiti. Kasi during lectures, kung saan-saan sila umuupo. During lectures, makikita mo na iba yung kanilang ginagawa, yung kanilang attention, wala doon sa mismong discussion. Okay? And not only with that, makikita natin talaga sa kanila that they cannot sustain conversation with other people. Okay? They tend to, hindi sila makapagpigil or hindi nila makontrol yung kanilang sarili to butt in, okay, with conversations. And aside from that one, dito natin makikita yung mga bata that they have that difficulty to sustain that attention every time that they are reading lengthy books, for example, lengthy reading, hindi nila kayang tapusin yung mga mahahabang hindi nila kayang tapusin. For example, nakita nila sobrang kapal ng concept na kailangan nilang pag-aralan, hindi nila kayang i-sustain yung kanilang attention. Okay? What else? They often does not seem to listen, okay, when spoken directly. So, makikita natin sa kanila, no, yung mismong mind nila, it seems to be, tawag dito, parang lutang, or their mind seems elsewhere, even with the absence of any observable distraction, for example. Okay, talagang makikita natin sa kanila na when it comes to their non-verbal cues, talagang withdrawn sila, or kumbaga, anong tawag natin doon? Meron kasing perfect term doon eh. Nakalimutan ko lang, na every time na meron silang kinakausap is that since hindi nila kayang i-sustain yung attention na yan, parang, nakalimutan ko yung term, ano ba yung proper term natin with that one? Nagzo-zoning. Okay, nagzo-zone out siya every time na meron siyang kausap. Ganon, okay? What else? They often does not follow through instructions and fails to finish schoolwork. Okay, yung mga activities natin or mga duties in the workplace. Kapag adult naman yan. Ito yung mga klase ng tao na they start, okay, task, but quickly loses their focus and easily sidetrack. Ibig sabihin, mabilis lang sila ma-distract. Okay, kahit in the absence of any observable distraction. Okay, like for example, nandun yung mismong urge niya na, or nandun yung mismong, tawag dito, yung mismong urge niya na gumawa ng ganitong activity. For example, naglalaba siya, tapos easily sidetrack, di ba? Sabi ko kanina. Tapos, after niya, habang ongoing siya maglaba, parang sobrang cluttered ng mind niya na may mga ibang activities pa na kailangan niyang gawin. Like, for example, naglalaba siya, tapos pagpasok niya ng room. Okay, pag sa adult to, na nag-persist yung mga symptoms ng ADHD. For example, ongoing siya na maglaba, tapos pagpasok niya ng room, nakita niya na marumi yung room, bigla siyang nagwalis. Okay, mga ganyan. Tapos, mamaya nag-cellphone na siya, tapos wala na, nakalimutan niya. Sobrang kasi, mayroon kasing ADHD, parang hindi okay yung kanilang time zone. Okay, sobrang bulag nila. Okay, dun sa kanilang mismong time zone. That's why, sabi nga natin kanina, kaya nagiging inaccurate yung kanilang work. Ano pa? Kaya, tawag nito, mabilis silang mawala yung kanilang focus sa mga bagay-bagay na kailangan talaga nilang matapos. Okay, may mga tasks na hindi nila kayang matapos in one time dapat. Okay? What else? They often has difficulty organizing tasks and activities. Okay? They have that difficulty kasi, no, in managing yung mga sequential tasks. Okay? Like, for example, hindi systematic yung way ng pagtatrabaho nila kasi they're easily distracted. Diba? What else? Yung mga, tawag dito, when it comes to keeping their materials and belongingness in order, nahihirapan sila. And lastly, sabi ko nga kanina, they have that very poor na time management. Ito yung mga tao na kahit sabihin mo na yung urgency, parang nawawalan sila ng sense of urgency kasi nga hindi nila nakikita ng maayos. Okay, hindi okay yung kanilang perception when it comes to their time. Okay, kaya palagi silang nalilate, mga ganyan. Okay? And then they often avoids, okay, dislikes, or is reluctant to engage in tasks that requires sustained mental effort. Okay? Kaya yung mga bata na makikita natin na merong possible ADHD, ayaw talaga nilang it's not because they don't have that capacity to do it. Like for example, yung mga schoolworks or mga homework nila. But it's because hindi sila ganon nai-stimulate. Kumbaga yung mismong dopamine level nila is sobrang baba. That's why nahihirapan sila to find a way para makapag-start ng kanilang mga tasks na kailangan nilang gawin. Okay? What else? They often loses things necessary for tasks or activities. Okay, like for example, yung mga school materials dapat na kailangan nila during that time is minsan nakakalimutan nila. Like for example, sa mga adult naman is nakakalimutan nila yung mga importante na bagay. Like for example, aalis na sila ng kanilang bahay. Tapos pag alis nila, nakalimutan nila, nakaligtaan nila na dalhin yung kanilang susi. Okay, mga ganon. Okay, what else? They're often easily distracted by extraneous stimuli. Okay, or sabi ko nga kanina, yung mismong distractibility talaga nila, talagang, kahit konting stimuli lang yan, talaga madidistract yan. Okay? Kaya, minsan, for example, kapag kausap mo sila, di ba, sabi natin, nag-zone out yung mga yan. Tapos, bigla-biglang, meron silang i-insert ng mga unrelated thoughts. Okay, na hindi naman natin pinag-uusapan. Mga ganon, okay? And then, they are very forgetful with their daily activities. Like, for example, yung mga, na-instructan mo naman sila ng tomorrow, dapat may mga ganitong task na kailangan matapos. Okay, they have that difficulty when it comes to finishing, okay? Or yung mga errands nila, okay? Like, for example, ano pa ba? For example, nag-message sila. Ito talaga yung very common na may nag-call sa kanila, may nag-message sa kanila, tapos nakakalimutan nila mag-reply, no? They forget to return that call or they forget to reply to that specific message regardless kung gaano ko-urgent pa yan, no? And aside from that one, they forget minsan yung schedule sana kung kailan sila magpipay ng bills. And even with keeping appointments, nakakalimutan nila yan. Okay, so kailangan talaga ng constant reminder sa kanila. Okay, so yan yung isang subtype ng ating ADHD, which is your inattention. Okay, so let's proceed naman tayo with your hyperactivity and your impulsivity. So, kailangan kasi nating ma-differentiate no, kung ano mang ibig sabihin. Okay, dun sa mismong core concept natin, kailangan kasi nating alamin kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng hyperactivity or overactivity. Same to with your impulsivity. Okay, so pag nurses, pag sinabi nating hyperactivity, eto yung mga, eto kumbaga yung mga excessive na psychomotor activity, no? That minsan, yes, purposeful sila or minsan aimless kung bakit natin or bakit nila nagagawa itong excessive psychomotor activity na to. That is usually accompanied, okay, by physical movements. Ano pa, aside from physical movements natin, dito papasok yung mga verbal utterances natin or very rapid na pananalita. Okay? So, ito yung mga yon. Okay, that's your hyperactivity. Kasi nga sabi natin kanina, when it comes to your ADHD, as one of the manifestation or behavioral manifestation natin, they have that inattention and distractibility, which is very common to them. Okay, so how about naman with your impulsivity? So, nurses, pag sinabi natin ng impulsivity naman, or impulsiveness, ito yung mismong trait, no, of acting things without even reflecting. Okay, without reflection. Ito yung mga traits of acting without reflection. And aside from that one, ito yung mga bagay or mga behavior natin, okay, without thinking about yung possible na consequences. Kahit ginagawa mo siya, without even thinking yung mismong thought, kung ano man yung magiging consequences ng behavior or ng action mo. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag natin na impulsivity. Okay? And aside from that one, when it comes to your impulsivity, ito kasi yung mismong parang abrupt na na inclination, okay, to act on certain behavioral urges without even thinking kung ano yung magiging consequences, without even reflecting kung ano man yung pwedeng mangyari kapag ginawa mo ito. Okay? Bakit meron ganun ng mga tao na merong ADHD? Bakit very impulsive sila? It's because they have the deficit, no? When it comes to their, anong tawag doon? When it comes to their inhibitory control. Hindi nila nakokontrol yung kanilang mga sarili. Okay? Kaya, one of the manifestation of your ADHD, we have your impulsivity. Okay? Ayan. Ano yung mga, natin according to your DSM-5 na pwede nang mag-manifest sa mga client natin na mayroong ADHD? Number 1, they often fidgets or tap their hands or feet or screams in sit. Ito yung mga parang, tawag dito kapag, di ba sabi natin, hindi nila nasusustain yung attention nila sa mga bagay na kailangan is they have to remain seated. For example, during discussion, ito yung mga kamay nila or yung mga paa nila tawag dito, merong excessive na psychomotor activity using their hands and their feet kapag kailangan or nasa situation sila na kailangan nila to remain still, for example. Okay, what else? They often sit in situations when remaining seated is expected. Okay, kasi ayaw nila yung mga activities or situations that require remaining in place. Okay? Ano pa, they often runs or climbs in situation where it is inappropriate. Kasi makikita natin sa kanila since they have that hyperactivity, overactivity, kumbaga parang they have that boundless energy. Okay, na hindi sila napapagod sa mga bata yan. Pero pagdating naman sa mga adult, possible makita natin sa kanila, minsan nagiging restless sila. Okay, what else? They often unable to play or engage in leisure activities quietly. Okay, kasi itong mga batang to, for example, pag sa mga bata, kumbaga parang, di ba, ito yung sobrang makulit na bata, ito yung mga alikutag in Ilocano, no? Kasi, pag tinignan natin itong mga bata, ito kakaiba eh. Parang, they are considered as perpetual motion machines na galaw ng galaw. Ganong level, okay? And then, aside from that one, is often on the go, acting as if driven by motor Okay? Ibig sabihin ng nurses is that they are unable to be uncomfortable being still for extended time. Kasi parang sa kanila, pakiramdam nila parang may kumokontrol sa kanila na every time, okay, they are being put in a situation na kailangan nilang maging still, okay, for an extended period of time, parang may kumokontrol sa kanila. Okay, hindi nila kayang, tawag dito, hindi nila kayang i-sustain yung mismong, yung mismong, situation na yon. Okay? Aside from that one, they often talk, okay, excessively. What else? They often blurts out an answer before a question has been completed. Okay? While, for example, ito yung mga tao na they tend, for example, during a conversation, tapos they tend to complete people's sentences na parang may answer na agad sila, no? Dun sa mismong question na tinatanong sa kanila. Okay? They complete people's sentences, and ito yung mga tao that can't wait their turn during conversation. Okay? What else? They often has difficulty waiting for his or her turn. For example, nakapila sila sa canteen, talaga makikita mo na very very galaw ng galaw kasi they cannot wait for their time. Okay? Ano pa ba? They often interrupts or intrudes on others. Ibig sabihin, ito sabi ko nga kanina, they tend to butts into conversation. Okay? They may start using other people's thing without even asking permission. Okay? So, yun yung mga tawag dito as part of your impulsivity. No? Hindi na nila naiisip na kapag ginamit nila yung isang bagay na hindi nila pinaalam. Okay? Because they have that deficit in inhibitory control, hindi nila naiisip kung ano yung magiging reflection of that trait, of that behavior, or yung mismong thought of that possible consequences ng kanilang naging behavior or action. Okay? So, these are your assessment natin or the subtypes of your ADHD according to DSM-5. We have your inattention and your hyperactivity and impulsivity. Ngayon, pwede kasing maging combined yung presentation natin. Okay, for example, meron siyang, nagmamanifest din siya ng impulsivity plus your hyperactivity and your, and your inattentiveness. Pwede yan. Pwede makitaan natin na combined presentation yung mismong ADHD ng client natin. Kasi, pwedeng maghalo yung mismong inattentiveness plus your hyperactivity and your impulsivity. And then, of course, meron din tayong tinatawag na predominantly, mas maano yung mismong inattention niya, mas dominant yung kanyang inattentive presentation for 6 months. Okay? Na nagpo-persist for at least 6 months, mas dominant yung mga manifestation natin as part of your assessment ng ating inattentive type. Okay? And then, of course, kabaliktaran, okay, meron siyang predominantly hyperactive and impulsive presentation. Ibig sabihin, mas dominant naman yung mismong hyperactivity niya and impulsivity niya compared sa kanyang inattention or inattentiveness for at least 6 months. Okay? So, those are your assessment na pwede natin makita according to your DSM-5 sa mga client natin na mayroong ADHD. Okay? So, now, let's proceed with your possible nursing diagnosis, no? Ng mga client natin na mayroong ADHD. Number 1, we have your risk for injury related to impulsive and accident-prone behavior and the inability to perceive self-harm. What else? You also have here your impaired social interaction related to intrusive and immature behavior. And then, meron silang low self-esteem related to dysfunctional family system and negative feedback. And then, lastly, we have your non-compliance with task expectations related to low frustration tolerance and short attention span. So, ano ba yung mga magiging natin dito? Ano ba yung magiging nursing intervention natin for client when it comes to this diagnosis? Okay, so number 1 here, of course, when it comes to this first diagnosis, number 1 dyan, is that we have to ensure that the environment is safe. Bakit? Kasi nurses, yung client natin, since they are hyperactive, they are very active, minsan, yung mga motor activities are already out of control. That's why, to ensure the safety of our environment for clients na mayroong ADHD, we really have to remove yung mga objects na meron, okay? Yung mga objects na possible mag-cause ng harm sa client natin. Okay? We have to remove objects from that immediate area na pwedeng maka-harm dun sa client natin. Okay? What else? We have to identify and limit behaviors that might put your child at risk for injury. Okay? Like for example, dito papasok yung tinatawag natin na aversive reinforcement. Okay? Kasi nandyan yung mismong limiting behaviors eh. Dito papasok yung tinatawag natin na aversive reinforcement. Ibig sabihin, we have to institute, okay, yung mga possible consequences for that repetition nung unacceptable behavior na pinapakita ng client natin. We have to institute consequences kapag nakagawa siya or naulit niyang nagawa yung mga behaviors or mga unacceptable or maladaptive behavior. Okay? What else? Lastly, we have to provide necessary supervision to prevent injury during your therapeutic activities. Okay? Kasi, hindi pwedeng mag-participate yung bata kapag, for example, walang pwedeng mag-supervise sa kanya, hindi siya pwedeng mag-participate sa mga activities, or hindi siya pwedeng makipag-engage sa mga activities na ito. Kasi possible, makasustain sila ng injury dahil nga excessive yung kanilang mga motor activities. So, no participation kapag walang supervision. Okay, so those are your interventions when it comes to this first nursing diagnosis natin. Okay, so next naman tayo dito for this nursing diagnosis. Okay, your impaired social interaction related to intrusive and immature behavior. So ano ba yung mga possible interventions natin as a nurse? Number 1 is that we have to develop a trusting relationship. Okay? Kasi kapag tayo as nurses, as part of our responsibility, we really have to develop the trusting relationship. Kasi once na nagkaroon tayo ng acceptance, okay, mararamdaman nila or nako-convey mo yung acceptance na dapat kino-convey or binibigay natin sa kanila, that increases yung feeling sila of their own self-worth. Okay? Ending, magiging natin or makukuha natin yung mismong trust nila. Okay? What else? We have to discuss with client with which behaviors are and are not acceptable. Kumbaga dito papasok yung mismong matter of fact manner natin, no? And aside from that one, sabi natin kanina na kapag na-surpass nila yung mismong limits or nagawa nila yung mga behaviors na dapat hindi, we could integrate your aversive reinforcement. Okay, sasabihin natin yung mga possible, no? We have to institute possible consequences for that repetition of their maladaptive behavior. Okay, what else? You have to employ consequences for unacceptable behavior as part of your aversive reinforcement. Okay? And then lastly, we have to provide group situations for client. Ibig sabihin, tawag dito, nagkakaroon dapat tayo ng appropriate na social behavior. Okay, na dapat ini-integrate natin sa kanila yung mismong acceptable or yung mismong appropriate social behavior when they're engaging or when they're interacting with other people. Kasi minsan naman, itong mga social behavior na to, they're being learned, okay, from the feedback of their peers. Kaya nga nagpo-provide ka dapat ng group situations for a client na kapag may nagawa siya na appropriate na social behavior, nagkakaroon ng positive reinforcement, nagkakaroon ng maayos sa feedback galing sa ibang tao because that increases their self-worth and self-esteem as well. Okay? And then next naman tayo dito sa mismong low self-esteem related to dysfunctional family system and negative feedback. One of the interventions na dapat ginagawa natin is that we have to ensure that the goals are considered as realistic. Kasi kapag nag-set tayo ng goal na hindi or somewhat unrealistic para sa kanila, that diminishes their self-esteem. Okay? Mas bumababa yung kanilang self-esteem or self-worth. And aside from that one, next is that we have to plan activities that might provide opportunities for success. Kasi, when they accomplish something, okay, may nagawa silang task, okay, that enhances their self-esteem. Okay, because a success or an accomplishment of a task, that equate to increase or that enhances their self-esteem. Okay, what else? We have to convey unconditional acceptance and positive regard. Sabi nga natin kanina, pag may nagawa siyang tama, okay, dapat nagkakaroon tayo ng affirmation dun sa mismong mga client natin. Okay? And then next, we have to give positive reinforcement for achievements. Because, sabi nga natin kanina na kapag ay na-acknowledge natin, no, na may nagawa silang tama para sa kanilang sarili, okay, that enhances their self-esteem. And that increases para gawin nila kung ano yung mga desired behaviors na sineset natin para sa kanila. Okay? And then lastly, for this nursing diagnosis, which is your non-compliance with task expectations related to frustration, low frustration tolerance, and short attention span. Okay, so number 1 here, we have to reduce environmental distraction, di ba? Since your client, okay, na merong ADHD, they're highly distractible, okay? Kapag they're being distracted, kahit very, very minimal na distraction, environmental stimuli, they aren't able to perform that, okay, in the presence of that minimal stimulation. So, kailangan nating i-reduce yan. Okay, not totally, pero at least dapat nare-reduce natin kung ano man yung pwedeng mag-distract sa kanila. Okay, what else? We have to provide simple, concrete instructions. Okay, kasi nga, since yung client natin na mayroong ADHD, they have that lack, okay, they lack that ability, no, to assimilate information kasi nasabi natin kanina, they cannot take so much information. Nahihirapan silang i-assimilate yung mga information. Like for example, nagbigay ka ng instruction sa kanila, di ba? They tend to zone out. Hindi nila na-integrate or hindi nila na-assimilate yung mga information. Okay na mga complicated or yung mga bagay-bagay or yung mga instruction natin that has an abstract meaning, for example. Okay? What else? Tawag dito, sabi dito, no, we have to provide concrete instructions. So as much as possible, okay, para ma-retain nila, okay, or para maintindihan nila na mabuti yung information na gusto mong ibigay sa kanila, you have to repeat instruction. Okay, so that when you're repeating instructions to them, at least na-determine natin yung mismong client's level of comprehension kung naiintindihan ba nila yung mismong instruction mo sa kanya. Ganon, okay? What else? You have to establish goals for completion of tasks and step, and then rewards each step completion. Ibig sabihin ng nurses, sabi natin kanina, kapag nagkakaroon kasi tayo ng positive reinforcement dun sa mga goals na sinet natin, tapos na-accomplish na itong mga to, no? That increases their self-esteem. And that could even provide incentives, no? You have to provide incentives. Para sa ganun, they're going to pursue that, that specific task na kailangan nilang makomplete. Okay? Kaya kailangan mo silang i-reward. You have to provide incentives kapag na-person nila yung mga tasks na pinapagawa mo sa kanila. Okay, what else? You have to encourage and reward independent achievement. So, sabi nga natin kanina, na kapag meron silang nagawa for themselves, okay, na-limit nila yung mga possible na tawag dito, maladaptive behavior, and then nag-adhere sila dun sa mga sinet mo na limits or mga tasks, you have to encourage them and we have to reward that specific accomplishment. Para sa ganun ma-increase yung kanilang self-worth as well as with their self-esteem. Okay, so yun po yung mga iba't ibang interventions natin and diagnosis natin when it comes to your ADHD. So ano naman po yung mga psychopharmacological interventions natin here. So usually ang ginagamit kasi talaga natin nurses, since they are inattentive, okay, what else? They have that, ang tawag dito, they have that they're easily distractible. So, kailangan natin magbigay ng mga gamot or considered as central nervous stimulants. So, ano yung mga gamot na to? Di ba? Parang paradoxical yung effect niya kasi sabi mo, sir, yes, natutulungan natin siya para ma-increase yung kanyang attention. Matutulungan natin siya para hindi siya easily distracted. Pero sabi natin, one of the manifestations of your ADHD, hyperactivity. Kaya nga parang nagiging, parang paradoxical yung mismong effect ng gamot nito sa kanila. So, what are the possible medications na pwede natin ibigay sa kanila? Okay, we have your amphetamines, we have your methylphenidate and dexmethylphenidate, or commonly known as your Ritalin. What else? You also have here your atomoxetine, your bupropion, and then lastly, we have your alpha agonist natin. So, first tayo ngayon with your amphetamines. So, sabi dito, ano yung mga example ng amphetamines since this is an stimulant, di ba? Or stimulant rather. And na-discuss natin to during your substance abuse, okay? So, dito, ano yung mga example ng amphetamines natin? Nandiyan papasok si dextroamphetamine, lisdexamphetamine, what else? Methamphetamine, and mixtures. So, ano bang ginagawa ng ating amphetamines? Okay? They cause the release of your norepinephrine from central and noradrenergic neurons. Ibig sabihin, kapag na-release natin yung mismong norepinephrine natin from your central noradrenergic neurons, mas na-improve kasi natin yung mismong attention and alertness ng isang tao na mayroong ADHD. And aside from that one, nagkakaroon ng release of your dopamine in your mesolimbic system. Diba? Remember that your dopamine, tumutulong yan para ma-improve natin yung mismong motivation ng isang tao, no? That improves your motivation. Kasi pag mababa yung dopamine level mo, nahihirapan ka na mag-initiate or mag-start ng task. Okay? So, yun yung kailangan natin sa kanila. And aside from that one, mas na-improve natin yung focus ng client natin through your dopamine and even with your reward processing na tinatawag natin. Kasi, ang ginagawa kasi ni dopamine nurses is that it stimulates your brain to improve your focus and your hyperactivity, which is the mechanism of action ng ating mga amphetamines. Okay, so next naman tayo with your methylphenidate and your dexmethylphenidate or commonly known as your Ritalin. Very common na klase ng natin, ng ating methylphenidate. Okay, So, ang ginagawa naman ng ating Ritalin, okay, is that it blocks the reuptake of the norepinephrine and dopamine into presynaptic neuron. It increases the release of these monoamines into your extraneuronal space. Ibig sabihin ng reuptake, okay, di ba sabi natin, pag sinabi natin reuptake, ibabalik nito dun sa mismong pinanggalingan. Okay, like for example, na-release natin yung ating norepinephrine from your presynaptic neuron. Ang ginagawa ng ating methylphenidate, hindi niya muna agad-agad binabalik si norepinephrine natin dun sa mismong presynaptic neuron. Same to with your dopamine. And with that, okay, pag hindi agad bumabalik, okay, dun sa mismong pinanggalingan ng ating mga neurotransmitter like your norepinephrine and dopamine, mas na-enhance kasi natin, no, yung mismong brain chemicals by preventing their removal or tawag ito reuptake. Okay, so yan ang ginagawa ng ating Ritalin. And aside from that one, versus si Ritalin, ang mga side effects nito is that it causes restlessness. Okay, it causes also insomnia. That's why, pagdating kay Ritalin, it's very important that we have to give your Ritalin AM or PM. Malamang AM, kasi nga nagkakos siya ng insomnia. Okay, what else? Possible headache, palpitations, and even with your weight loss. Okay, kasi yung client natin, okay, na nagtitake ng Ritalin or your methylphenidate, remember that your Ritalin, it causes appetite suppression. Kaya possible, mag-lead siya into weight loss. And aside from that one, pwede siya magkaroon ng suppression of growth in children kasi in the first place, sabi natin kanina, suppression yung mismong appetite ng bata. So possible, hindi niya hindi niya ma-meet yung mismong nutritional intake na dapat natitake ng isang bata. Kaya pwede siya magkaroon ng growth suppression. And aside from that, since CNS stimulant siya, okay, pwede siya mag-increase ng blood pressure. Okay, it can also cause abdominal pain. What else? Anxiety, tolerance, and physical and psychological dependence. And kailangan natin mag-focus dito kasi ito talaga yung tinatanong, weight loss and insomnia. So, kailangan talaga kapag nagtitake ang isang bata na merong ADHD ng ating Ritalin or your methylphenidate, kailan siya dapat binibigay? In the morning, what else? Before or after meals? Before meals. Kasi sabi natin, nagkakos siya ng appetite suppression. Yun talaga yung mismong highlight ng ating Ritalin. Yun kailangan yung tandaan, nurses, kasi yan talagang tinatanong during your board exam. Okay, so what else? You also have here atomoxetine. Okay, sa atomoxetine naman, ano naman si gamot na atomoxetine? Example siya ng what? Example siya ng ating tinatawag na mga antidepressants. Kasi ang ginagawa ng ating atomoxetine, it selectively inhibits your reuptake of your norepinephrine by blocking your presynaptic transporter. So, ano yung mga possible na side effects ng ating atomoxetine? Number 1, pwede siya magkaroon ng headache, upper abdominal pain, nausea and vomiting, anorexia, cough, dry mouth, constipation, and possible increase in your blood pressure and even with your fatigue as well. And then, next naman here, we have your bupropion. Okay, ano naman ginagawa ni bupropion natin? It inhibits naman yung mismong reuptake ng ating norepinephrine and dopamine into your presynaptic neuron. Okay? Aside from that one, meron tayong alpha agonist here. Remember sa alpha agonist natin in your cardiovascular drugs in your pharma when you were in second year, di ba? Ang example nito, we have your clonidine and your dinafacin natin. Si clonidine or your catapres, di ba? And ang ginagawa naman ni alpha agonist natin, nurses, is that it stimulates your central alpha adrenoreceptors in the brain that results to reduce sympathetic outflow from your CNS. Kumbaga, mas tawag ito na rare-reduce natin, no? Yung mismong fight and flight response ng ating brain, di ba? Which is part of your sympathetic nervous system. Okay? And with that, kapag na-reduce kasi natin yung mismong sympathetic outflow response or yung mismong outflow natin from your central nervous system, mas nakaka-calm natin yung mismong brain ng client natin na merong ADHD. And then the rest, what are the possible side effects? Of course, we have here your palpitations, okay, bradycardia. Bakit siya nagkaka-palpitate? Kasi nga, that's, since na-decrease mo or na-reduce mo yung mismong sympathetic outflow ng ating central nervous system, okay, ibig sabihin nun, as part of the compensation, pwede siya magkaroon ng palpitation kasi one of its effect, pwede siya magkaroon ng bradycardia. And aside from that one, pwede siya magkaroon ng constipation, dry mouth, and even with your sedation. Okay, so that's it with our discussion with your ADHD.